Hey guys, Danny here, back with another video for you. Today we are looking at a random smartphone. I just wanted to do a quick review on one of these. I picked this up from Amazon and I want to see how good it actually is. Now this comes in at £70. I'll put a link down in the description for you. And before we go any further, I do have a bit of a cold at the moment, so apologies if I sound a little bit croaky. So let's take the phone out of the packaging and take a look at it. You can see it's got dual cameras on the back. It does also have a front facing camera as well as a fingerprint reader on the back. It is also packing a 4000 mAh battery, so we should get some decent battery life. The phone has some nice weight to it and it does feel like it's fairly well made. It is a little bit bulky because it is a budget smartphone, so you're not going to get really super thin bezels and specs. It does have a bit of a chin at the bottom here, just trying to get the camera to focus, and it does also have a notch at the top. Not a big fan of this particular colour, but it's okay. For £70, I think the overall design of the phone isn't bad. I mean, I don't think you would look at this and think, oh my god, this is ugly. I think it's somewhere in between. It's okay for the price point this is at. £70 is pretty cheap for a smartphone, so we'll have a look and see how this actually performs as a phone. Also included in the box is your UK power plug, as I am in the UK. You get your micro USB charging cable, also for transferring files, and you get a little see-through case, which isn't actually too bad considering it comes with it, and your user manual, and also a cloth and a screen protector. So let's go ahead and turn the phone on. The screen on first impressions isn't too bad. If you're someone who is used to high-end smartphones, of course you're going to notice that the display is quite a low resolution, but it's not something that's really bad that you're going to notice all the time. But definitely if you get close up to the screen, or you're watching YouTube videos and you're trying to watch them in HD, you are definitely going to notice a fair drop in quality, as this is such a cheap phone. Setting up the phone is pretty straightforward. I've skipped most of it. It's just a case of signing into your Google account, signing into your Wi-Fi, and then you can also set a fingerprint and a pattern to unlock the phone. So this system is pretty robust. It's similar to most other ways you would set it up. So you just, here I chose a pattern, so I set up the pattern first, and then you touch your finger onto the back of the fingerprint reader on the back of the phone and just move it around a little bit, and then it builds a picture of that fingerprint. So this was pretty straightforward to do and it didn't take very long. It felt pretty similar to other fingerprint readers that I'd used before. Now when it comes to actually using the fingerprint reader, I only registered one finger and I did it once, so I may have had better results if I would have done it a second time or used another finger, but it seemed very hit or miss. It only worked about 50% of the time, which become pretty frustrating. I probably should have tested this more in depth, but normally I've never had to redo a finger when using a fingerprint sensor on a phone, so I wanted to kind of do this fairly, and as you can see it really doesn't always work very well. So I don't think you would really use this feature very much because it can be quite frustrating, but nonetheless it is there for you to use if you want to use it, and it does work sometimes. When you do actually get to the home screen, the first thing I noticed was I just felt like the screen itself, probably because of the bezels on the side, it just felt a little bit narrow and the screen felt quite compact. I'm used to using Samsung Galaxy smartphones which have pretty large screens, so this did feel a little bit small for you. If you're coming from something like an iPhone, which I wouldn't expect you to because this would be quite a big downgrade, but the screen size shouldn't be too bad for you. Here I'm just taking a look at the front facing camera and I will do a little bit of a test for you and I'll show you that in a second. So here are some picture samples from the front facing camera. They're a little bit blown out and lacking in some quality. Now we'll take a look at a video. Hey guys, right, so I'm doing a video test. This is with the front facing camera. I do have a bit of a cold, so sorry if I sound a bit croaky. So I just want to get a basic idea of what the video quality is like on the front facing camera and also the audio, and then we'll test the rear facing camera as well. Here's a picture from the rear facing camera, and now I'm going to show you a video as well. Please bear in mind I had to convert this video file and it seemed to add a little bit of fuzziness to it. Hi guys, this is a video test with the rear facing camera. Also a little bit of audio so we can see how well it picks up my voice. I also conducted a speed test just while I was on Wi-Fi. I was about 5 to 6 meters from my Wi-Fi point and it gave me the sort of speeds I would expect. I ran Geekbench on this phone and I did the compute and CPU test. The scores were pretty low as you would expect, so you're not going to be using this thing for high-end gaming or anything close, but you will be able to play some pretty light games on this, and there'll still be a lot of games that you will be able to play on this, just not anything that is using high graphics. So if you want to use this as a gaming device, you will be able to do so, but you are going to be restricted to a smaller amount of games that you'll be able to run on this, and you may run into more issues because it will not be as heavily supported as the more mainstream phones, so just bear that in mind. The phone does handle some light multitasking. If you have lots of windows open, then it definitely does slow down. If you're just using YouTube, for example, it does seem to be fairly snappy, and you can see I'm just going onto my channel here and loading some videos. Now, the speed that it loads at isn't too bad. One problem I had though is that it only went up to 480p and not 720 or full HD, which is a bit of a disappointment, but it did play okay and it didn't stutter or anything like that. And I also tested out the speakers and they were quite loud. They were a bit tinny when they got to the maximum volume.
Is 1.5 hours. So let's take a look at these. Here is the charging case. It's a bit bigger than the previous one, but it is shaped slightly different.
I did do some call tests and the phone seemed to be average in terms of its call quality and its sound from the person talking to me. The battery life was good, as you'd expect from a 4000 mAh battery, so I wouldn't recommend picking up this phone if you're coming from a higher end phone or if you're using a mainstream phone or anything like that, of course, because they're probably going to be better than this one. But if you just want a simple smartphone that's a very low cost, that's going to do the basics, this isn't going to serve you too badly. But you have to remember also, because of this, it's probably not going to receive many software updates or updates at all, whereas if you're using more of a mainstream phone, it's going to last you longer, as it's going to have better support, better bug fixes, and also future updates for Android. So that's all stuff you should bear in mind. Of course, I'll put a link down in the description if you want to pick this phone up. I really hope you enjoyed the video, guys. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing for more videos like this one, and of course I will see you in the next one.